Police statistics confirm township gangs are an increasing national problem. Over the past 5 years, they have plagued the community of Sebokeng in the Vaal Triangle. Unlicensed initiation schools in the area act as breeding grounds for these gangs, feeding them with new members. Despite attempts of local authorities to counter gangsterism, gang violence continues unabated.
Safika kimi zathi umendleleni ethu sigijimisa lo umuntu wena umendleleni sangapha ngavimba sangapha nala
batale le gontene ke shebella di movie ya movie ne ke shebella gontene ke rata ya thiane shapileng di delela yane ke tshwara slepe se skana ke go bona ha ka tshwara tale tsa yone sharp nka khona ka pa ke khona tsena batho.
Special assignment goes to Sebokeng to profile the largest gang in the area, the Wrong Turns, notorious for violent panga attacks and for robbing fellow community members. The seemingly placid landscape of Sebokeng Township appears to be an unlikely place for a growing gang pandemic. Over the past 5 years, it has become notorious for violent attacks on the community committed by gang members. Gangsterism in South Africa is a national problem and by no means is unique to the Eastern or Western Cape. In fact, in communities like Sebokeng in the Vaal Triangle, there is an escalating gang problem with up to 10 different gangs operating here. This means to the people who live here a life of constant fear of being robbed or attacked. On the 19th December 2015, a violent incident occurs at the renowned tavern in Sebokeng. CCTV cameras outside this tavern show a group of young men entering and refusing to be searched by the security guard at the door. They proceed to cause havoc inside the club, destroying the sound equipment and the tavern owner's car. A few minutes later, the gang walks towards the security guard and attacks him with pangas.
Batho ba rasa like customer di rasa di hweletsa di nkopa go ke bule eng ba bang batla accounting ba mplela gona le batho ba bitswang marong 10 ba tlile ba tshwere go dipanga and stuff mona ba attack batho.
Tavern owner Naughty is still angry about the vicious attack. She believes her business has been negatively affected because the clients are now too afraid to frequent the once bustling night spot. Naughty reported the matter at the Mafatsane police station. Allegedly, the police only came to take a statement 5 days later. She says even though she told them that she had CCTV footage of the whole incident, the police told her that nothing would come of this.
Community ka ke na mhlomolo ha ya maponiseng ha e thole thuso because bana ba bang ba reipuo ba entsueng batho ba reipileng ba ntse ba le teng fela and ba teng di groupung tseo tsa mafontaine.
One of the security guards attacked violently during the incident is still recovering from a panga wound. In a separate incident earlier in the year, an anonymous community member captured this violent attack on his cell phone. The Wrong Turns are seen here publicly attacking this man who was stabbed and hacked to death. This shocking incident happened in broad daylight with hundreds of people watching. What makes the gang phenomenon in Sebokeng unique is that young men are being groomed into a lifestyle of gangsterism at certain initiation schools in this area, so that by the time that they graduate, they are hardened gang members ready to affiliate and wield weapons like these, a panga, which is the weapon of choice. To understand the crux of this gang problem, we decided to talk to some of the members of the biggest and most feared gang in the area, the Wrong Turns. As they arrive, local children run away in fear.
Sharp, I started on 10, Kishabella the movie. Yeah, movie in Kishabella, on 10, Grata, Tiana, Shap, Dindi, Delayani, Sharon Slepes, Kana, Girovana, Akatorata, Sharp, Munkahona, Kapaki, Honokinabatua.
Kataga is the leader of the notorious Wrong Turns gang. He is clearly high from inhaling glue. Kataga grew up without parents and was raised by his late grandmother. The Wrong Turns is in many ways his family.
So peace ilabating sharp mafatane police station balagetsa camp. Kilaya camping sharp bamuka motivate bathuba basira seka life. Sharp ki yenze ntho ka khutla ma go khutleng wa ka aka khona bona change because batho ba bazanga ba attend hore go show ba tlo mo re dulang ba bona re phela jwang o etsahala daleng e tse qala ha obvious re phela ha le poqo taba pele ba ha ba re se mosebetsi re dutse ha ya retse nix hona ntho re tla etsa obvious go kopana strat no kopana le serasa obvious ya kupa tlamile re lwa.
Young gang members like Shloni, who are still at school, say they joined the gang because of poverty. He is now 18 years old and has been a member of the Wrong Turn since he was 13. The Wrong Turns make no secret that they are carrying weapons at all times and admit to robbing and stealing for a living. One of their members explains why they use pangas. Kataga is clearly revered by the youth that follow him, many as young as 14. Despite he's notoriety as a gang leader of the Wrong Turns, he dreams of being a hip-hop artist.
Yeah, ke shapa se tena mo lebe ka chaya ke na di bugadi ke sweka ka jodene qhumedi kwa le go bana ba yelo ke shapa se phadi vale ka moka ya tseba ke sale ke kena ka jozi ke kapa di.
A talented musician, he recently produced a music video, a fact that is somehow tainted by the violent actions of his group. It is graduation day for the initiation schools in Sebokeng, a day when hundreds of young men return from the mountain and are presented back to their communities. In the Sesotho tradition, this day is a celebration and means a great deal to the families of these young men who have attended initiation schools, the majority of which are legitimate and licensed. We were advised by Spinner Mofokeng, a traditional healer, how to discern whether young men were initiated at an authentic initiation school by, amongst other things, observing that they carried traditional weapons like knopkiris and wore traditional Sesotho blankets. On the same day, a school that is notorious for not being legitimate releases its initiates. The group leading them carries pangas and knives as opposed to traditional weapons. None of them are wearing traditional Sesotho blankets. They call themselves the Alaturns, a combination of the Wrong Turns and the Alaska gang. The graduates are welcomed into the fold by Kataga.
So today's a big day for you, now tell me why it's a big day.
Today is my day because we are celebrating our initiation school.
So how many new guys or new initiates have come out?
Yeah, like 24.
Sure.
24 of them.
For the next couple of weeks, what happens?
The next couple of weeks they will come and join me.
As a traditional healer and chairperson of the Sebokeng Initiation Traditional Surgeon Committee, Spinner Mofokeng has seen firsthand the challenges that unregistered initiation schools present.
Mosebetsi wa rona ke hore batho go tshwanetse re hlokomele hore motho o mong le o mong ha ya lebollong o tlamehile hore a fete ho rona re tsebe ka yena hore ke mang a ya lebollong a yo bolotsa bana initiator hore initiator ke mang jwale batho bao o tlamehile hore pele a yo kenya bana o tlamehile hore a fete ha masepala re sebetsa le masepala wa Sidibeng under this ntwena ya AIDS unit ke bona ba nkile ba ntse re sebetsa le bona hantle ntle ntwena tshwantse sebetsiwe ke bylaw because ona le ntwe bitswang bylaw.
He says one of the main challenges they are facing is that the correct cultural procedures are not being followed. Children as young as 14 are being accepted into initiation. The correct age, in his view, is 18 or older, which is when the transformation to manhood begins.
Bana ha ba etsa mephato ya bona ho qetella ho bana le digang, and then bana ha ba khutlile ntho mphato ha ke re jwale mephato ena e se etsuwa ke bana ba banyane ha e etswe ke batho ba baholo hantle ntle a ke re motho a yang le a bolotsang tshantse a bane le 40 ya uti now ona jwale hona le bana ba 25 years.
We discovered that some graduation traditions were also being subverted by gangs in Sharpeville. A tense situation unfolds when a gang known as Majanja refuses to release an initiate to his family without being given the money that the community normally gives the young men to perform. We spoke to the father of the initiate, who had to report the matter to the police in order to get his son back.
Ba ba teteletse ba go thusa re ya mo bana ba leng teng a re fitla mo bana ba leng teng a re fitla mo batho ba ba di sa bole ba ha ba sa leyo ba nkile selta bana e le gore bana ba ibinetse a ke le kutlo ke thabila ne ke bona ntate se ke khutlela hae ke tlo mona batho ba tsogeng ntho se sa lokang.
A few days after the young men graduated from the various initiation schools in the Sebokeng area, Mofokeng took us to the site where he says illegitimate initiation schools are often run next to a busy national road.
This site is a dumping site. Yeah, it's illegal to stay here. Ne a ke re batho bana ha ba no ya mphatong e ba e leng hore o illegal gore o handlo o le mlaong ha ba no ya mo ba tlo ya wona wa bo o mo tsebang hore ba etsa everything mo ba ka o rata wa.
He then takes us to a privately owned farm to show us what an ideal location for a proper Sesotho initiation school would be if the landowners would allow it.
I write for lona just makgwa teng a sa batle but I write for le bollo ipatile a bona ipatile bana ha ba bonwe ke mang ka poma ha ba tshwanela go batho ba bone bana ba le mphato ba tla bona mhlang ba tswa.
The Gauteng Department of Community Safety says that they are aware of the challenge.
They are using some tactics of recruiting young boys to go to the initiation schools. Obviously, the initiation schools, only those that are illegal, those that are not promulgated or those that do not follow the strict guidelines. There are two sets of schools in Sebokeng or in the Val area alone, where there are those that are legal, those that are not legal.
The community of Sebokeng's gang problem started in 2010. A man who has taken a strong stance against it is Jacob Mugaba, a member of the ward council responsible for community safety.
first we used to hear that at initiations they are taught how to be a real man. But this nowadays, instead of being a real man, they become thugs, they become gangsters.
He is concerned that the community may take the law into their own hands if this social problem persists.
There was a time where their houses were burned down. And what we see now is that what is going to take place, because now they are still doing those things which they used to do in the past.
Meanwhile, cultural gatekeepers are determined to preserve the purity of the Sesotho culture. Muzi, not his real name, has lived in Sebokeng for over 10 years and knows firsthand the danger that the wrong turns pose to the community. In December last year, he says he was on his way home when a group of youth carrying pangas approached him.
ukuthi nalo ngifaka amasensi angisakhona ukubaleka safika kimi zathi umendleleni ethu sigijimisa lo umuntu wena umendleleni sangikapha ngavimba sangikapha nala.
Previously, the community of Sebokeng resorted to vigilante action and burned down several houses of alleged gang members. This is of concern to the ward councillor, who is inundated with daily complaints from the community.
Since towards December, una le complain ya maronteno re a kapa batho si wa bona ntse continue wa itswela pele ene ba re ke marontena eating site a tloa ka eating site a jump sporo a tle ka mona a tlo etsa confusion eng batho ba phela mnati total ke di gangsters.
To prevent a standoff between the community and the gangs, the ward council, along with the police, ran a rehabilitation program a few years ago, which only lasted a few months.
Ba rehabilitate, ona di programs se bala ba dietsa, ba ya di campong, ba khutla ba into ma police station, team ele ya police station, ya ba ga etsetsa di games. Baba pala ya bantu emnati Maria fella ona mo.
Now and again we took these young boys to rehabilitation, but we say rehabilitation alone perhaps is not sufficient. After rehabilitation, we take them to a youth camp where they are then taken through the whole process of rehabilitation. And some of them, as they come out, because they have started to be involved in this gangsterism, to unemployment and having nothing to do. Then we said, after they've gone through the rehabilitation and the youth camp, let's see how best we can link into the process of job opportunities to them.
But what strategy do they have for dealing with the ongoing problem that the illegal initiation schools present to this community?
Let's look into promulgating the act that will look into making sure that we get rid of this illegal initiates, because in the province alone, in Sedibeng alone, there are 76 initiation schools, of which we demolished over 50 of them, which were illegal. And in Gauteng, in the city of Gauteng alone, there are 16 that are existing, and all of them are illegal. So we are in the process of making sure that we promulgate a law that will actually work around this, making sure that all the things that are going there, they are legal and they follow the processes that are needed to be followed.
The community is desperate for provincial government to put a stop to the ongoing gang violence. While we were filming this program, Kataga, gang leader of the Wrong Turns, was stabbed by an unknown attacker a day after the new initiates were released. We spoke to him immediately after the incident.
ba fita bang attack ka condom ba ntlha a ke tseng for a go sa ga tsabana
so go di
akbathi yes but never told me baba tseba
A few days later, he was released from hospital, and although he was still traumatized and recovering from the stabbing, anger and revenge were foremost on his mind.
bona nga re ke a sha because ke dutse madi a mangata madi a na tswa tje sa khone bona re se sa bone next se ke amoela re ke a sha sharp that's la gala o sha jambata ndani because nampola dina kwata ke to yetsa ntse ke to go setsa ke to mbolale.
But will this incident be a turning point for him to change the direction of his life and commit himself to rehabilitation? Meanwhile, parents like Marta, not a real name, are determined to keep their sons away from township gangs. Marta's son was recently kidnapped by a bogus initiation school and just managed to escape the clutches of the initiators. We meet her as she seeks the help of the Council of Traditional Healers.
Ile ka lahlela ke ngwana nako e telele ka December bashimane ba mutsitse bana ba mabollo ka mo batla nako e telele ka ba ka tsamaya ka ya di-police station ngwana ka leng la matsatsi ka mmona a hlaha a itlisa yena ka re ngwana o tswa kae a re mme ba ne ba nkutswitse ha kena ngwana a kena a kgathetse matla a re mme phemetse ke lapile le mo mone ba di teng ho ne ho sena le dijo.
Sebokeng regularly receives complaints like these from desperate parents and is determined to take action against the unregistered initiation schools that are bringing the name of legitimate initiation schools into disrepute. Using hidden cameras, we managed to confirm that an initiation school that has dealings with gangs is operating in the Sebokeng area.
Who left?
Hey, I was so clear. About the year 1 hour. I get about 20 now, about 1960. What about the back now? I want to see. I buy your system. I buy your system. Hey, if you learn, hey, you're not about money to do. Hey, but about the signality. Hey, now going to us with Kali and Nagi High Moon. You want to see the affair. You if we're not going to see the affair. Hantus Valley on another one pin man in it.
This man says that he is merely leasing his land to the owners of the initiation school.
Okay.
We tracked down the alleged founder and recruiter for the illegal school, which was allegedly acting as a feeder to the Majanja gang in Sharpeville. He claims he is innocent. He also claims that they indeed have registration papers, which according to the council was not the case. While both men are pointing at each other as the owner of the school, no one has been arrested for running this illegal initiation school, which is associated with the spread of gangsterism in this area. In the meantime, the community of Sebokeng and other parts of the Vaal Triangle continue to live under siege of gangs masquerading as cultural initiates.